Life is about loss. As time goes on, we lose fights, we lose people we love, we lose our hair, and then we lose our life.
Ferocious. Vicious. Beast. Brutal. Flawed. These are just a few things people describe as the Iron Mike Tyson. But did you know that Mike once saved a woman from a gunman? Yes, you heard it right. Mike Tyson saved a woman from a gunman. This is just one of the many things you probably didn't know about Mike Tyson. In this video, we're going to see who Mike Tyson really is, in and out of the boxing ring. Michael Gerard Tyson was born in Brooklyn, New York, where he lived the street life and committed numerous petty crimes, being arrested about 38 times when he was only 13. He was sent to a boys' club in Johnston, New York, where he developed his boxing skills and was discovered by a man named Bobby Stewart, who introduced him to manager trainer Cus D'Amato, who cultivated Tyson's boxing skills. Mike Tyson looked up to Muhammad Ali and became his role model as he pursued his career in boxing, and in 1989 he got a chance to join him in an interview on the Arsenio Hall show, and Ali asked,
"Who would have won if you fought this man in your prime?"
I wasn't that powerful. I was so fast.
Uh-huh.
If he hit me.
High praise from the legend himself, Muhammad Ali. Mike Tyson became the undisputed heavyweight champion over the years.
Iron Mike Tyson!
And once became the richest athlete, even surpassing Michael Jordan in 1990. But despite Tyson's substantial career, his misbehavior inside and outside the ring, including the infamous ear-biting incident versus Evander Holyfield and a rape case in 1992, caused his reputation to plummet. Tyson retired in 2005, holding a 50-6 record with a monstrous 44 KOs. After Tyson retired, various stories about him surfaced, and you won't believe some of them. In 2016, American rapper Fat Joe shared in an interview on ESPN SportsCenter how Mike Tyson,
fresh out of jail with the kufi on,
bailed him and his co-rapper Big Pun on getting beaten up by club bouncers.
Mike Tyson started chasing the bouncer around the car like 20 times, and the bouncer's like, "Yo, Pun, Fat Joe, please."
Imagine being saved by Iron Mike Tyson himself. Another hilarious story came from the comedian actor Jamie Foxx in an interview with Ellen DeGeneres in 2015, wherein he was in a club and about to be hit by a Mike Tyson joke when Mike Tyson himself
Tyson is in the audience.
Mike Tyson was actually a fun guy.
Mike said, "Do the joke, and it better be funny." I'm like, "Oh, snap."
Imagine hanging out with the baddest man on the planet. And even the baddest man on the planet can be a superhero, as American actress Rosie Perez tells in an unbelievable story about Mike Tyson saving her from a gunman.
Went up to him like this, his gun, like put like this your finger, like if you have a gun, right? The Mike went, "Come on."
Come on. Oh my God.
And not just that, Iron Mike was far more generous too, as he gave a Rolls-Royce car once. That car is worth millions.
Broken arm, I said, sir, why don't you just take the car? You deserve it because you've been doing a lot. Because I didn't want to get arrested. I didn't have a license or anything. Right. And I didn't want my wife to get in trouble. I said, why don't you just take it?
With the countless, unimaginable Mike Tyson stories, Iron Mike received high praise from other boxing legends and even other personalities as he continued to be humble out of the spotlight in the past years. Even the legendary coach of 8-time division champion Manny Pacquiao, Coach Freddie Roach, has high praise for Mike as he remembered their training back in the day and described how hard Tyson trained.
He was a really, really hard puncher.
And how strong of a fighter he really is. One of his most famous fans, and one of the most famous advocates for Mike Tyson, is UFC commentator, analyst, and podcast host Joe Rogan. He even praised his shape and fighting skills at the age of 53.
But
He looks fucking incredible.
Really?
Terrifying. Dude,
when Tyson came out of retirement and fought Joe Ross Jr. in 2020. Joe Rogan also said in one of his podcasts that even with all the bad reputation over the years, all the controversies that Tyson has faced, the sufferings when he was a child, Mike Tyson has humbled himself, unlike the man the public portrays him as.
Didn't seem like the Mike Tyson who I was a fan of.
Right.
Not, like, I didn't dislike him in that moment. I was just like, what's wrong with him?
In a podcast with Kevin Hart, they talked about how Tyson's
the pit bull with no leash.
And how Tyson
didn't want to stoke his ego. He didn't want to work out. He goes, because if I work out, my ego fires.
That training makes him riled up. Also, in one of the interviews with Mike, he revealed that he hated seeing his younger self.
I got mixed feelings with that part of my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of stuff about that I don't like about myself and stuff. I try to forget that stuff because I'm on a whole different vibe.
That wild, uncontrollable prime of his, and regretted his behaviors along the way. In some interviews, he revealed that his current wife, Lakia Spicer, kept him at peace and thanked her for her support for him and their kids. Mike Tyson,
This is the heavyweight champ of the world. Everyone wants a piece of him.
who is arguably one of the best heavyweights of all time, and probably the most controversial one, has been a legend for decades, with a mean, intimidating look.
I keep my eyes on him. I keep my eyes on him. I keep my eyes on him.
A hunter stalking its prey, and a twisted personality. But in reality, Tyson is just a normal husband and father, who lives his life at its very best as a gentleman and a family man. He is now very different from how we initially perceived him. We will now end this video with how Mike perceives himself, and what he wants other people to remember about him.
Educate themselves. If they don't, the gift won't work. The gift only works when you put in that spirit of fighting, the will to win.
Right. This is Iron Mike Tyson.